Purple roses. That's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to make it out of this again. It's a scrap that I had. With the roses that we're going to make, it's probably better to have a long, thin piece of fabric. The longer the longer the piece of fabric is, the bigger the rose will be. This is going to make quite a small rose, but it's a strip about an inch wide by, what we got there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches, which is a standard piece of felt wide. It's a simple technique, but it's a little bit fiddly to start off with. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the end of my felt at almost at a 45-degree angle, and you'll see at the end, when we come to the end, it leaves it a nicer finish. The starting point is always the slightly trickiest. It doesn't matter which way this point points, it'll work both ways. But the way we start it is you fold the top down to the bottom, like that. And then you fold it like an aeroplane beginning, you know, if you're going to make a paper aeroplane. So it's down on itself at a right angle. And then you're going to twizzle this one round, over and over on itself. And you'll see that the centre of a rosebud starts to form. So keep a firm hold on the bottom part of this, because you're going to use that as your anchor point, and we will put a couple of stitches in it just to hold it in place in the future. So we've got our little rosebud centre. You're then going to take this piece of cloth and you're going to fold it whilst turning it at the same time. So you're wrapping it around. Can you see it's starting to form a petal, or an indication of a petal? And we're going to fold it again and wrap it round. I'm going to keep doing this until all of the fabric is used up, so all of the felt is used up. And keep working with it as you're going round, adjusting the position of it so that it makes a nice pleasing rosebud shape. So round and over and round, and over and round till you get to the end of your felt. Tuck that bottom bit in, and then what we're going to do is turn the whole thing over and stitch it, but you can see it makes a nice little rose shape. So turn it over, and then we'll just put a few stitches into the bottom to hold it in place. It is a simple thing to do, but as I say, a little bit fiddly. Watch it a few times before you make a start. Once you're confident, give it a go. You can always go back and re-twizzle it until you're happy with the finish that you've got. And then what I'm going to make is a little calyx to go on the bottom with some leaves as well. I'm not going to put any prickles on. It's just not necessary in felt, is it now? Nobody wants to be wounded by a felt flower. All the way around. Chunky stitches are fine. It's just to hold it together so that it doesn't start to unravel. It's just a spiral of cloth. And there we have a cute little rosebud. So if you make a million of those, then you should have enough for on your garland. Lovely. In true Blue Peter form, here's one I prepared earlier. I've made a little bow tie calyx as we've made before. The anemone shows the whole process, but essentially I folded a piece of felt in half, drawn an outline with the calyx, so the outside of the support for the flower, as a circle, and then half a leaf and half a leaf. I've gone for a rose shaped leaf, so I've put some little jaggedy edges on it, but it forms a sort of bow tie shape, which we're going to make to be the base of our rose petal, sorry, rosebud even. The next step is going to be to actually stitch it onto the back, and also to put some tucks in the leaves to make them a little bit more realistic, and then that'll be ready to go onto our garland. The next bit of this is to make sure that we've got a ribbon running through it so we can tie it on. 2 little snips in the base of our calyx, and that just gives us an in and an out to attach a piece of ribbon, which I just happen to have here. I found some green, which is good. It's amazing what you found around the house when you're least expecting it. So there's my piece of ribbon threaded through. I'm going to put my rosebud into the middle, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the bottom of the calyx and put a little stitchy holding stitch in there. I'm going to put a pin through the centre so that I can keep it in place while I'm working. I'll crack on and do that. So there's our finished rosebud. As I say, this one's about 9 inches long as far as the spiral's concerned. We've added the leaves and we've put the ribbon on the back to attach it. But I also made some bigger ones, so again this is about twice as much felt, about 18 inches long. I've just put a single leaf on this one, but it's exactly the same principle. You stitch round and round and round and round in the spiral, doing the folds and the twisting as you go, and then I've just added the same background on as well. So these are all ready to go on, and I need to add as many or as few as I want to make the finished effect.